Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 41, day number 4. It is Thursday, October 13th, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. Support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always imagine your stop when placing a trade. All right, welcome. If this is your first time watching the video, very down, straight, non-essential, no music playing, nothing flashy, just getting right into the chart. See where today's trend was, where we may be headed tomorrow based on current momentum. But again, just got to watch the charts in front of you. That's your best technical indicator. All right, let's jump into it. Day number 4, post FOMC results, and not too bad today. Trading only on the NQ and the YM there. NQ with total 142, ES 86 ticks. Couple nice runs there. A little struggle today as price action had deeper pullbacks than usual, not allowing me to stay completely in the trend, but again, taking the probability of the setup to the upside. There was 2 days of econ data there in review, but puts us up for 2 days of solid setups here. 10 setups, 607 ticks as we roll into Friday. All right, let's jump right into the ES chart. As we can see, this was the overnight. Again, hands off. Got that picture last night. Got all charts in sync to the downside. Again, the essentials. Let me go over what we're looking at. We're looking at a primary chart here. We have a T350. We have a 5144 set to a cloud. All right. Again, this is not Ichimoku. I will again show you later that this is not Ichimoku. This is simply 5144, putting a cloud for a visual in it, and Heikin Ashi bars to the outside. Now, each of these charts representing a different study, but the core strategy right here, as you can see on the chart, as price action comes down underneath the cloud, placing the stop at the swing size. You have the HA bars all the way down. Trade management is up to you whether you come in and out, but Heikin Ashi candles trending downside keeps you in the trade, and that's what we're looking for on any given day, in tow with the AD line, advancers and decliners. So here we go. Nice move on the ES downside. Option to stay in, option to exit, option to manage even further down. That's up to each individual trader. We look for the highest probability entry underneath the 5144, and as I call it, Heikin Ashi cloud. All right, so that was the ES prelude to today's session. As yep, there it was, ES on the open right there. Short setup, tweeted out, price action down underneath the cloud, and sure enough, we have a runner to the downside, and there it was. That was the nice setup on the ES. We come down after 2-bar confirmation there. I don't need 2 bars, but 1 2-bar, that was good enough, and price action to the downside. Come out, 1 contract, slope change on the T310, good enough. And the ES, solid setup, number 1 to the downside. The remainder of the session on the ES spent to the upside. Again, I told you those deeper pullbacks coming almost close to those entries and into the cloud. That was good enough to simply exit the trade. So trade management pretty much on the upside. Take that first contract off and exit on the downtrend or counter trend play. Again, it was a little easy to see in hindsight, but we're not looking for hindsight setups. Price action was above the VWAP. Price action was above the cloud for a couple of points where it got in there. But for the most part, nice trending session to the upside on the ES. All right, second focus on the NQ to the downside today. There was that initial entry to the downside like we saw on the ES. I wanted to point out chart of interest here. Again, this was a nice scalp entry to the downside, solid bodies, tails down. And there you are, back in trend with almost 5 charts. As you can see here, initially the slope is not there. You could also see the Heikin Ashi bar is trending down, but you got the 534 still in the downtrend. And you also notice on the AD line, that's right, the AD line, what are we doing? Well, we're not showing any indicators here of price action coming down. We actually have a little bit of indecision going here. And finally, price action crossed above the T350 here. Not the best of not my favorite setup, where price action was still to the downside because sitting underneath the cloud at T350, but a nice counter here. Again, if you waited until another maybe hour. I don't know if it was about an hour, but price action eventually got up here, as I'll show you here. You still had the opportunity to get into the long trend. What I'm trying to tell you here is that with divergent price action down, an AD line indecision and right there holding, that was not exactly the move to go short. But once the breakout did occur above the T350 and the AD line did pick up, that was a nice signal there for you to get into the long if you wanted to take the early entry. All right, and so it did. The NQ ran up, and we ran it all the way up to actually the daily gap, an opportunity to stay in. Again, I wanted to show you AD line, how significant that is when it comes to indices. Right up to the pivot, blockade, wall, can't go any further, daily gap, and that was pretty much it for then. And then eventually, after the daily gap, again, that daily gap around, it wasn't too much further, it was around 48.06, and then the daily 58 around 48.10. So there was that daily gap there. Price actually got up to the daily 50-period moving average after that breakup of the pivot, and there it was, end of the line and the counter trend on the slope through the cloud. Again, you could take the counter trend, but who's to say that one versus that one? There it is. There's the nice setup to the downside at the end. Again, option 2 charts in the red. Take your first contract off a little bit sooner, but again, didn't play that one out. And so taking a look at the NQ, there was that first setup for the session after the pullback. Yeah, hindsight looked great. It would have been nice to have taken the short up here, but I had a couple of lines that I was looking at, including that Globex low, and then there it was to the downside. Sweet move. Same management as we saw on the ES there. One off and then one off with the counter trend on the slope. There it was to the upside on the breakout above the cloud there. T3 moving average breaks out above, and you got yourself a nice setup. Again, holding on a little bit longer on that last one up to the daily gap. Had an opportunity here. Again, didn't exit right there on the slope change as the slope change came over here. And as you can see, I already had one off, so I was willing to wait and see that out. And again, saved me to stay in the trade all the way up to the daily gap. So nice move using that T310. All right, YM, I wanted to show you a big pick for the day. Same scenario. He had a move to the downside. Again, didn't look for anything, but once again, you might have taken the shorts down here. Again, I look for the higher probability. There it was above VWAP and T310s above the T350 and 50 above 144. It makes for a nice trending session. All right, let's jump into the charts. Let's see if we closed out any daily gaps. Sure looked like we were going to have some daily gaps there today. Sure enough, we closed them out, and price action ran itself. So no gaps formed today. Crude still holding at the recent highs. NQ holding at the all-time highs, as the rest of the majority of the indices are doing currently. How do we do on the Fibonacci projection levels? Very nice today. Again, with a small range yesterday, the target high and target low is going to be smaller. It's all based on previous day action. So we got to hit both targets on both sides. So nice rundown if that's what you were watching in the big picture. All right, let's take a look at the charts. Let's take a look. I wanted to go ahead and show you again. I'm getting questions. I got to clarify. I wanted to show you the difference between the Ichimoku, and I'm just showing you the cloud, the Ichimoku cloud itself. It's right here on the darker yellow here, where the 5144 is the more transparent trend. I am not, and this clarify, is not an Ichimoku strategy at all, but you can see here price action on the ES to the downside, also holding underneath the cloud, and then prospectively to the upside. But again, I'm using different parameters. So again, once again, you have, and by the way, if you're all familiar with Ichimoku, it projects out, whereas mine is currently based in trend. So there's your ES chart for today, but there's your difference in the two clouds. All right, again, taking a look at YM and NQ, we saw the charts there. There was the NQ to the downside, nice move. Back again above the VWAP, midnight open, a little pause there, and then the breakout to the upside. Had some early movers here in the live trading room that took the trade from the bottoms, sat up nicely all the way to the upside. Again, deeper pullbacks, wasn't able to sit in that all the way, and so had to regain a little bit of entry. There was the last entry on the ES, the downside, 2 charts in sync. I recommend trade management number 3, which is take your contracts off a little bit sooner than later. All right, taking a look at crude, gold, and the 6E. Here we had crude without it, with its report out today. Larger number on the build, so sell at the numbers. There's your chart release, and then price action really didn't move. Still holding up in the 50s, as we saw there on the daily gap. That's right, the daily gap right there, sitting at the recent highs. Still looking for that crude to get up there to 55.41. That'd be nice. Close out that open gap. All right, taking a look at the gold. Is gold, again, a little bit choppy today. Price action 51.44, very tight and close. There was the better setup of the day. Sell signal downside at the open. Price action eventually got upside. Overall, pretty much a flat day. Down, up, and in the middle. So there we go. Gold not going anywhere quick. And 6E, again, a little bit choppy there through the mid-session. Overnight, price action to the upside. Would have been a little bit tough here as you got some solid signals, but nothing really followed through. Maybe up to the Globex high in the 6E as finally broke through. For that's about a four-hour move there. Not much momentum on the 6E. All right, there's the current trend for today. Again, I can't reiterate. That's the setup. That's how we look for each day. High probability. The core setup, as in any other day, is the top chart, followed by the second chart, which is the 534, the third chart, which is the 5144, which you can see up here on the cloud. You can actually eliminate a lot of these bottom charts. You can eliminate all three charts down below, as you can see where price is in relation to the cloud, and puts you in the trend, and that's all you need. I am a pretty visual trader. I like to see colors, so I do include those on my charts. But again, to each individual's individuality and trading interest of how they want to stay in the trend. By the way, here we go. Price action here on the TF Russell. You can see here on the Thinkorswim charts, price action to the downside, and then again, very choppy up to the tops, not as smooth as some of our other indices. And again, when I mention trending studies, you have your opportunities, you have Flex Renko, you have Renko, you have trailing stops. These are all trend studies when it comes to the markets. Again, available on Thinkorswim as well when you look at the trending studies that are available on the Thinkorswim charts. All right, taking a look ahead as we roll into tomorrow. We looked at the daily gaps any given day. If we're not right at the intraday levels or intraday numbers on the 5-minute charts, then we look to the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is good volume today. We look at where is price action in relation to the 50 and the 200. We're obviously in between the 50, 200, the 200 down here below 88.51 on the NQ. I go to the 4-hour charts. I see price action in a downtrend on the 4-hour. We're still all downside, but the 51.44 is still upside on the NQ. So I got to go with an uptrend pullback currently, but probability is right now leaning stronger to the downside. As we can see, the YM and ES clearly, I have to go with the downtrend, but finding a little bit of support today. We'll see if price action follows through overnight, finds resistance here. Yes, no. Well, intraday is a whole different picture, but again, right now, still clearly in a downtrend on the YM and ES until further notice. Take a look at the crude here as crude continues to hold up above the 5,200. I got to go with the uptrend on the crude and downside on the gold as rejected the 200. 4 hours still holding downside as gold holding across. Not a lot of spike action here as price action not really lifting, but bigger probability still sitting downside on the gold. Bonds getting a little bit of lift here up to the T3, the 50 EMA on a 4-hour chart. It is underneath the T350, so I still got to go with the downtrend. This is what we might be looking for on the ES and YM. If price action lifts, look for the resistance here. What would give me the probability that we're upside and holding upside? Well, if price action lifts through both the 50 and the 144, then I start to have a confirmed uptrend, a pullback above the 144, and then a resurgence and back upside. That will give me the confidence we're in a strong uptrend, and then the 50 will pull itself back up above the 144. All right, following up and finishing up with the EMD, Midcap 400, same picture there, ES downside. We're still sitting downside. I got to go with the downtrend all the way across. 6E Euro, again, pulling back here, but the downtrend. as the T310 is also downside until I see a T310, at least a slope change. I can't say that I'm confident of an uptrend yet. And price action sitting in also below the 50, in between the 50 and the 200 here on the 6J. Troubling times here for the markets. Again, you got to look at the daily gaps or the big daily picture. All I see is a lot of price action here in between. That's right, in between this gap here. So it's all about intraday. I couldn't make any crystal ball, and I don't do any other day, but I can't make a projection that says, yep, ES is definitely downside or ES is definitely going upside, or for that matter, the ETF. All I'm saying here is that the current momentum is strong to the downside, but then again, look at today's charts. We had some perfect opportunities to the upside. Harder to get those upside moves, and but if again the bigger pictures to the downside and on the intraday setup, that's right, the intraday setup like we had there at the beginning. Let's take the ES as we saw price action to the downside with 5 charts in the red. That is in sync. That's right, that's in sync with the bigger picture, which is the downside. But counter trend move, got to be ready in both directions each day. So I still have to go with the bigger picture to the downside. What will confirm even a stronger downtrend is if price action runs it up to the 51.44, finds resistance there, and then pulls back down. Then I can say with a confirmed downtrend that we have some strong downplay holding on to the futures. All right, as we head into tomorrow, Econoday, a couple red stars here today, but Fed speakers up tomorrow. Watch for that Yellen speech at 12:30, Treasury budget in the afternoon, and then retail sales, a couple red star events in the morning. All right, that concludes an insight and the daily trend. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets, including Twitter, where I post daily setups and charts as well. My trading mantra, one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at TradingFibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me on my charts. And as always, leave your bias at the door when trading. That's probably your best technical indicator. Hey guys, if you want to join us in the trading room, email me, David at TradingFibs.com. We'll get you a free session, see what we're doing each day. Other than that, have yourselves a Blue Zone day. Good day. Good night, and good trading to you.